This is going to be a mess. For those of you who might not know me, hi, I'm Kay. I like theater. Specifically, you know what I'm a big fan of? Starkid. I adore Starkid musicals. My story with Starkid begins with Every Starkid Musical, as I think it does with a lot of people. I think maybe when I was early middle school, I discovered Every Starkid Musical when I was like deep into my Harry Potter phase. So I watched that and a Harry Potter sequel. A few years later, when Firebringer was announced, I found Firebringer, and when I watched Firebringer, I saw that and Twisted, I think, and maybe Trail to Oregon. But then when I really got into Starkid was when The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals came out, and I ended up watching all of their musicals and just fell completely in love. So, while in quarantine, I decided it would be fun to have a rewatch of every single musical, some of which I hadn't seen since my first time watching them, and review them and rank them. So that's what I did. Will this video be overly long? Yes. Am I gonna do it anyway? You betcha! So in lieu of a script, I have some notes from when I watched each of the shows, as well as the supplementary mini vlogs that go with each of the shows. Except Trail to Oregon. I forgot to vlog during Trail to Oregon. Whoops. I ended up ranking these shows on various aspects of their production, which then I hoped would help me rank the shows from my least favorite, which is still amazing, to my favorite, which is amazinger. I've never been able to rank my favorite Starkid shows before, so I thought this would be fun. The things shows would be ranked on: choreography, how good is the dancing? Music, how good is the actual composition of the music that is being performed? As well as harmonies, singing, what's the blend, what does the music sound like? Book, this refers to the actual script, the writing. This also refers to pacing, story beats, character development, etc. Things that have to do with writing. Performances, how did the actors do? Comedy, how is that classical Starkid comedy? Heart, also, how is that emotional part of the show? Does it make me emotional? Lighting, typical, and then costume and set. Also, pretty self-explanatory. So let's dive right in. A Harry Potter musical. To witches and wizards and magical beasts. Did someone say Draco Malfoy? The best character in this show. Is a Hufflepuff. The sandwich bomb is the peak of comedy. Because Pigbots is on Mars. Catch me doing a video where I just recite every single Lauren Lopez monologue I can find in the Starkid canon. Someday you'll say when I say
whatever happens tonight, ma'am, it's been a blast. Yeah.
One of these days I'm going to take my tap shoes and I will learn how to dance again. Now 2 people are mad at me.
Pigfots, pigfots, here I come. Pigfots, pigfots,
Can't believe they really had the audacity to kill Tyler twice in one show. I totally forgot I'm Missing You was in this show. If that doesn't say how kind of forgettable it is. Snape saying that Harry has to die and then saying, I'll show you what to do. And then dying. Genius. Voldemort is going down. Ultimate hype song. Yeah, ultimate hype song. Quirrellmort, though. So you came back? No. I came home. Gotta get back to Hogwarts. Still slaps. I think some of the humor is a little outdated. That just comes from it being 2009 when this was written and performed. But some of the comedy still gives me a little hearty chuckle. Lauren, Brian, and Jamie are standout performers in it. I love Draco and Quirrell and Ginny. I think they're all hilarious and impeccably performed. The reuse of Sammy from Little White Lie into Harry genius because that song is just so good. It needs to be recognized. The simple set and costumes often elevate the humor. There's very little choreography. There's effective movements in like going back to Hogwarts when they do the train motion, but other than To Dance Again, the choreography is a little lackluster. The pacing issues. It is so long. Even though it's a student production, some of the lighting is still cool, like when they use the port key and this different staging to show the transportation. I think that was pretty cool. Overall, I'm super nostalgic for a Harry Potter musical. I think it's a fun, grand old time to go back and rewatch it and see all the Harry Potter references and just have a good time. So the ranking. For choreography, a Harry Potter musical gets 3 out of 10. Music, it gets 8 out of 10. Book, it gets 7 out of 10. Performance, it gets 9 out of 10. Comedy, 7 out of 10. Heart, 6 out of 10. Lighting, 4 out of 10. And costume and set, 6 out of 10. Me and my...
Censored content.
Hey, it's me and my...
Yeah, I haven't watched this since the first time I watched it. So, we'll see how it is.
Headband returns! Look at me with my pigtails so tight, you think that I might explode. Lay the groundwork for a better day.
Brian Holden is an icon. The harmonies at the end of Ready to Go are killer. I still stand by the fact that the music in this show is amazing. I love the music in this show. I heard Joey Richter cries in the choir room. Sally deserves better. Sally deserves better. Sally deserves... Joey Richter's Wiener Wild! The heart of this show is the old snatch, which is something I never thought I would have to vocalize out of my mouth. AJ Holmes! An icon arrives! I'm realizing this is the second time a Jane Austen novel has been referenced in a Starkid show. First in a Harry Potter musical, and now in me and my...
Censored content.
What? What?
Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart.
Corey! Okay, I forgot to film for like all of Act 2. I just watched it. So...
We're just the best of friends.
The design is such an improvement in this show. I love the costumes and the set. I think it's really fun and unique and different, especially for a student production. The humor still works. It's a bit hit or miss, but when it hits, it is so funny. The fact that this is Jamie's last, like, lead role, I mean, you could sort of count Daughter on Trail to Oregon, but if that's iffy, the fact that this was Jamie's last lead role is criminal. Please give her another lead role. Please, I beg you. AJ absolutely steals the show as the heart. Best performance in this show, hands down. But Corey is also another standout. Act 1 is strong as a self-contained story. Act 2 is interesting. Yeah, I just need to mention Listen to Your Heart it's so good. Some of the pacing issues from a Harry Potter musical are fixed, but it is still longer than I would typically enjoy watching a musical for. The ranking. Me and my...
Censored content.
Gets a 6 out of 10 for choreography. Music, 7 out of 10. Book, 5 out of 10. Performance, 5 out of 10. Comedy, 5 out of 10. Heart, 3 out of 10. Ironic from the show that has actual hearts as characters in it. Lighting, 5 out of 10, and costume set, 7 out of 10. A Harry Potter sequel!
We got these days of so...
So as funny as the previous shows have been, this one is the first time I've laughed out loud various times in the first 2 scenes. Home still really makes me emotional, okay? Umbridge is still everything. Hermione cannot draw. The door close on the beat at the end of Getting Along is so satisfying. That's all. That's all.
I'm in a rage!
Those voices makes me so emotional, and I can't explain it. I love the Mirror of Erised. I love how it's done. I love the image of Harry's parents, and then at the end you just see Lily when it's just Snape on stage. Ron and Hermione kind of be cuter in this show as compared to a Harry Potter musical. There, I said it. This is all spurred on from the speech Ron gives Hermione about Spider-Man. Year 2 Draco, using the time turner, genius. I love this scene so much. This is my 3rd recording this scene, which I think just goes to show I literally love Act 2 Scene 6 so much. So much. It is impeccably written. It is so funny. And it's just amazing. Wow, it's just amazing. The Taylor Lautner poster. Nick Lang. The confrontation between the Malfoys. Cinematic. Summer to remind us of each other.
The time we have to spend.
A great opening song and scene. I love Yaxley and Lucius, and I hate that they disappear for like half the show because I enjoy watching them so much. The music is just top-notch, elevated so much from a Harry Potter musical. The set and costumes are also a real upgrade. I love how it looks. It has some of that same student production, but like a student production with a budget, you know? The puppets are also great. I love the wolf and like Scarfy and the Sorting Hat. I think they're so fun and really well made. Nick! What a king! Brian Holden! What a king! You're going to realize I love their performances in every single one of these shows. Almost a little too much. The choreo is messy and not totally synchronized at points, but it's still super fun. Again, the pacing is off. It's just such a long show. I'm gonna say that for a lot of the early Starkid shows, they're just so long. Other people, it probably won't bother them. There's some great moments of heart in this show. To Have a Home. Wow, they really came out here and did that. That is one of my favorite Darren performances, period, in like anything he's done. I love that song. I actually sort of love Draco's like letters to his father and him trying to get that. Sirius and Harry have a great relationship in this. Oh. Yeah. Alright, let's get to the ranking. For a Harry Potter sequel, choreography, 6 out of 10. Music, 9 out of 10. Book, 5 out of 10. Performance, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 8 out of 10. Heart, 8 out of 10. Lighting, 5 out of 10. Costume and set, 9 out of 10. On to Starship!
My life, I pictured them.
Starship, here we go. Okay, really quick, just because we're right at the beginning. I love the opening reel and the little cameos from other Star Kids who aren't actually in the show. I love like Tyler and AJ and all of them, and Chris Allen, an icon. So, it's pretty good. Zappers! Set them to pew! Pew pew!
What's this?
Dylan!
What's that?
It's an icon!
A flavor of vibes, but
The
now
use of editing
he's like
is
a total wimp.
strange.
Like the other day,
It's
he was in the
interesting.
cafeteria.
He eats eagles for breakfast. He sleeps on his bed of fire.
Lauren Lopez. Brian Holden as Junior is impeccable.
That time you taught me calculus. Calculus was tough.
In live streams, Starkid always rags on hideous creatures. How? How can they do that when it's such a bop? This is unfair.
Out there keeping the peace in outer space.
This is a darling of the fandom that I really, really enjoy. Oh, the beginning reel. It's great. I love it every time. I love catching different Star Kids who aren't in the show but are in that little reel. I love seeing them. It's fun. It's like a cute little Easter egg if you know Star Kid. Yeah, there are great bops in this show. Like, almost every single song is a bop. The production in this is crazy, crazy good. All of the puppets look professional, like Broadway level puppets. Same with the sets, same with the costumes. I love just looking at this show. It is great to look at. Joey is Bug! This is my favorite Joey Richter performance. I just think, I know he gets cast as like sort of the goofy, or in the past few shows, more sinister characters, but I love seeing him as like the earnest, lovable main character. I don't know, he plays it really well. I also think the performances are really strong in that almost everyone plays two drastically different roles, from their main Bug character to their main human counterpart. Seeing that contrast and how well all of the actors pull it off is great. Nick Lang! For someone who's not in the show a lot, I love seeing him. He does so well. I'm so proud. Also, Brant Cox, voice like butter. Love it. And Brian Holden, this is my favorite performance of his. I love him as Junior a lot. The lighting is much improved. The upgrade to Chicago is very evident and clear. And the world building is super well done. The book is pretty tight in a lot of places. Some other places it's a little rough, but the fact that I can understand what's going on in an almost space opera story, props. For the rankings, Starship gets 5 out of 10 for choreography, music 9 out of 10, book 8 out of 10, performance 10 out of 10, comedy 6 out of 10, heart 9 out of 10, lighting 7 out of 10, and costume set 10 out of 10. Holy musical Batman! Holy musical Batman! Alright, I realize I didn't finish filming Starship because I just ended up watching it and enjoying it. I'm going to guess this is the same way because Holy Musical Batman, not to go in with biases, it's one of my favorites of the musicals, so I'm just gonna sit and enjoy it, and if anything entertaining happens that I need to quote or say, we'll be here. I'll see you. I love Superman.
Thanks, I built it myself. You know,
Batman
you
and
should get it
Superman.
looked at because it's not.
I just love them. The icon.
Also, Chris Allen just came on screen, so I gotta go.
I had a pony. I never had pets.
I love the end of Dark Side Lonely Nights so much. Those harmonies, beautiful, gorgeous, stellar.
I'm a superhero. Let's be friends. So me and Aquaman and some of the other guys, we're gonna be.
Ignore the fact that it's many hours later, but I love all the villains' stupid puns. They make me laugh, that's all. Ha ha ha. I never noticed Evil Mother Goose honked at the end of Rogues Are We reprise. Nick Lang as Robin. Nick Lang as Robin, though. Listen to me when I say Nick Lang as Robin. Nick as Robin. My God, it's Calendar Man! Homies, amigos, pizza, Nintendo. Woo, 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 let's go!
I'm pretty sure everyone agrees that
Robin sucks.
Batman's a loner, you know, but now he's running around.
I don't get how people don't
throwing
like this
jokes
song.
with some kid. It's like,
Controversial opinion. I love this song.
where's the kid's
I'm so biased. It's so bad. Okay, never mind. I get it, but also I still love it, so sue me.
Hey, Bat.
My tum-tum wouldn't hurt no more.
What's the matter with your tum-tum?
It's freaking upset. Jump over a building. Where's that man who's more
Batman's
powerful than a
speech
locomotive?
to Superman, right near the end here.
Where's that man?
Oh my God, it's so good. It's
Than a
so well
gun.
written. Oh my God, it's so good.
Where?
Guys, I love this show. I knew that going into it. I love this show, and I feel like it's so slept on. Like, people usually rank it pretty middling. I must disagree. I love this show so. This is probably my most rewatched show. All of the music is bangers. They're bangers. Every single one. I don't think there's a bad song in this show. I love jamming out to this soundtrack. Again, the production is gorgeous. The set and the costumes look right out of a pulpy comic book. I also think the way that they staged the different superhero effects are really well done, especially with Superman's powers and, like, flying and whatever. Guys, I'm gonna shock you again. Nick Lang and Brian Holden. I don't need to say anything else. You know. You've seen this. You know why. You know why they're here. Also, Chris Allen. Oh, I love him so much. Everything that he's in, he is so fun. He's so funny. His sense of comedic timing is great, and I love watching him perform. I love the themes of, like, friendship and, like, found family and your friends and coming together in the end, and Batman's whole speech near the end where he talks to Superman and how he actually, like, thinks he's cool. I love them so much. Whole Musical Batman gets choreography, 9 out of 10. Music, 10 out of 10. Book, 9 out of 10. Performance, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 9 out of 10. Heart, 9 out of 10. Lighting, 8 out of 10. And costume set, 10 out of 10. It's a Harry Potter senior year. Senior year. It's a Harry Potter senior year.
I'm about to sit down and watch a Harry Potter senior year. Be honest, this is the one I'm most nervous to rewatch because I didn't love it the first time I watched it, and I haven't watched it since then. So, we'll see how this goes. I should clarify, I actually really like the fact that this is a staged reading. I think the narrator is funny and adds a lot of character to the show, oddly enough. And I think it has a lot of that scrappy charm that you start to miss in the Chicago-era Starkid. I'll be honest, I'll take any show with Chris Allen in it gladly. I'll gladly take it. Give it to me, please. Brian showed up! Have you guys learned my bias towards Brian Holden in the past few forever? It's apparent. We got beef. We got beef. We've got beef.
Now we got beef, Paul. We got beef.
We got beef. I know I'm predictable at this point, but I love Brian.
The kids out of Aragog's nest and into a small shack on the edge
Sue me! Alright, well, done with Act 1, and I am pleasantly surprised with how much I'm enjoying it. So, would do. No, I'm not a leading man. I know I'm not a star. I don't want to talk about it. This is, take number 1 for getting emotional during Starkid shows. Wow. Cool.
It's a Harry Potter senior year. I was so scared going into this show because I was thinking I was not going to enjoy it. And I was so surprised. I enjoyed it so much more on this rewatch than the first time I watched it. I don't know why I didn't enjoy it the first time, because now I love it. I thought it was great. There is a bit of a mixed bag of music. Some of the songs I don't love, but others of the songs I think are so well done. I love the Wizard Cops. Just gonna put that out there. The Wizard Cops are hilarious. Why aren't they there more? Again, Chris Allen, and when he pulls out the gun, it's just... he's so funny. Gilderoy, AJ Holmes... let's not sleep on him, ever. He's just so great. I'm so glad that he's gotten so much success past Starkid, because he deserves it. I think this is a really good development of Harry's personal story, and it's a nice cap end to, like, Harry Potter as a fandom and a storyline. Performances are so much stronger than I remember them being. Like, I remembered just thinking some of the performances weren't great, but I thought almost all of them did a really, really good job, especially considering the amount of time they had to prepare for this show. I love the mirroring of To Dance Again and Always Dance. It's a nice little callback. Sidekick is in top 10 Starkid songs. I love that song a lot, and I think Joey kills the performance. A Harry Potter senior year gets choreography, 2 out of 10. There is, like, none. Music, 7 out of 10. Book, 5 out of 10. Performance, 8 out of 10. Comedy, 7 out of 10. Heart, 9 out of 10. Lighting, 4 out of 10. And costume set, 8 out of 10. Twisted. Let my life be twisted. I'll be twisted. Alright, 2 in 1 day. It's been a few hours since I finished Harry Potter senior year. And I'm gonna get into the show I've been most excited to rewatch, because it has been long time my favorite Starkid show. We're gonna watch Twisted! Oh, Dream a Little Harder is a great opening number. Also, might be too early to say this, and also too basic. I love Robert Mannion, like a lot. He's great. He's so funny. I can definitely see how this show, though, would be a harder show to get into comedy-wise if you don't have knowledge of, like, Disney, and also if you don't like swearing as comedy, because it definitely relies on both of those things significantly, but it's also fantastically written, so what can I say? I love the lyrics in this show, they're so well written. They're just, I want the moon, I want to live on the moon. Alright, Act 1 done. Happy ending. Can I just say, one of my favorite Act 1 closers of like any musical. I love songs that have counter melodies and like reprises of earlier songs in like one big giant Act 1 closer. I mean, it's in a ton of musicals. It's a trope that I love, and it's just done so well in Happy Ending. I'll be twisted. Another fan favorite. People love Twisted. I love Twisted. We all love Twisted. Dylan is a dynamic and talented performer. We've been new. As a big Disney fan, the references and the meta humor, top notch. It's so good. The lyrics are genius. There's great pacing in this show. I never feel bored. It is constantly stuff that's moving you along and making you feel very engaged in the story. I always find golden rule and follow the gold and rule. Genius. The humor is the main weakness. I find it funny, but similar to the Harry Potter shows, if you don't like Disney, some of the humor isn't gonna be funny to you. And I also think Twisted is the show that relies a little too much on shock factor swearing for comedy, which I know some people don't find funny, like, at all. Twisted gets choreography, 8 out of 10. Music, 10 out of 10. Book, 10 out of 10. Performance, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 8 out of 10. Heart, 10 out of 10. Lighting, 8 out of 10. And costume set, 10 out of 10. On the trail to Oregon.
Now our journey begins in the 1800s.
I just remembered I didn't have a vlog for Trail to Oregon. The songs are so catchy. I love when shows have an actor that plays like every other character other than the lead. Joey Richter does that, and he does a great job. I think the show is hilarious. Some people don't. That's fine. Personally, I think it's hilarious. Shout out to Corey, who just becomes a different person when he becomes Cletus Jones as compared to the grandpa. The family makes me very emotional. I get emotional watching this show. Like, the scene right before When My World's at Stake. I get emotional, I'm sorry. Again, Rachel is excellent in this show. She's so different from the princess, and yet kills it. I love interactive narratives in theater. I think it's a fun way, especially when you have an audience right in front of you, to really make them invest in the story. So, it's a cool aspect. I really enjoy it. For Trail to Oregon, choreography, 8 out of 10. Music, 9 out of 10. Book, 8 out of 10. Performance, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 9 out of 10. Heart, 10 out of 10. Lighting, 9 out of 10. And costume set, 7 out of 10. Annie. Alright, time to watch Annie, which I'm pretty excited to rewatch, considering I haven't seen it since the first time I watched it. I love Chris Allen. The music in this, bangers. All bangers. Mara Jade is one of my favorite Denise roles. I just feel like she does great in it. That's all.
Where's all the color?
God, I love Nick Lang so much. I love this song. I also love the interaction with the band. Just great. This image is Renaissance art. The magic of this show is its ability to make me love Jar Jar Binks, which I didn't think I would ever say. first show with choreography that I adore. I love the choreography in this show.
Fault. JJ's been shot.
I'm so emotional
Shot?
about Jar Jar Binks.
He's not making much sense.
All my favorite actors shine in this. Brolden, Nick, Chris Allen. They just do fantastic. This show is way funnier than I remember. I laughed, like, a lot. And yet I was also, like, emotionally very invested in this show. And yeah. Why do I get emotional over Jar Jar Binks? This is the first time in one of their shows that I think the choreography is super tight and super fun. I also love the music. Again, standouts Pappy and Obi-Wan, played by Nick Lang, and Brian as Jar Jar Binks. For Annie, choreography, 10 out of 10. Music, 10 out of 10. Book, 8 out of 10. Performance, 10 out of 10. Comedy, 7 out of 10. Heart, 8 out of 10. Lighting, 7 out of 10. Costume and set, 7 out of 10. The Firebringer!
Today, I don't really want to do the work today.
I love the music composition in this show.
It's the same, nothing's changed, nothing lost, nothing gained. Is there more to life than this? She says play it safe, yet she talks about growth. In my own opinion, you can't have them both.
So, catch me next week with my video, me performing all of Lauren Lopez's monologues. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Grunt and Emberly's story, but I also love Joey, and I love Rachel, and the music is just so good. I'll still happily sit through it. Let me just say, I could listen to Clark sing forever, just forever. Underestimate your competence. What is the ending to this show? At all. How did they think this would be predictable? In any definition of the word predictable. How?
Work today, I don't really want to do.
Firebringer, which surprised me how much I enjoyed it. Again, this is one I don't rewatch often, mostly because I don't find it very funny, but I really still enjoyed myself when I watched it. Praises to the musical composition. Holy crap. I think the music in this is their best music, which I know is a controversial opinion, but the use of percussion and the unique sound of the music is so compelling to me. And I think the blend of the singers is Broadway level, and the harmonies, again, Broadway level. Yeah, like I said, the humor just doesn't do it for me. I do not find it all that funny. But there are a few jokes that, like, make me chuckle. The costumes are pretty. I think Snarl's cool, and the fire props are pretty cool. Lauren and Meredith absolutely kill it in their roles. They do a great job. The lighting design. This is the first time in a show where they really utilize lighting design as a storytelling technique. The choreography and general movement and blocking and the way they embody characters is very well done. So, ranking-wise, Firebringer, choreography, 10 out of 10. Music, 10 out of 10. Book, 5 out of 10. Performance, 9 out of 10. Comedy, 4 out of 10. Heart, 5 out of 10. Lighting, 10 out of 10. And costume set, 8 out of 10. He's the guy who didn't like musicals, didn't like. The guy who didn't like musicals. Was that Borat? Contact 5, not the HFPDE. I can under no circumstances imagine having Professor Higgins as a biology teacher. What?
We came from downtown.
What?
This is
Moana! Make way! Consider the coconut. I don't think Alice is perfectly developed in this show as a character. But Bill in this storyline, it's been the heart. Ted is a sleazeball, but a brilliantly written character, and I will defend this to the day I die. Oh my god. Pay attention to me. You spotlight on Mr. Ingenue. I wish I could go back in time to the first time I heard this song. I was dying. Business called it out. I literally screamed the first time Paul walked out when I watched the ending. Literally, like, screamed, and then started crying when he started singing. You know what I want now. The guy who did Bangers. Every song. I take that back. Tied Up My Heart is... There's so much talent in this show. Holy crap. It is a small cast, but it is very, very clear that they are all extremely talented. Specifically, props to John in his first Starkid show. Absolutely kills it. He is such a good actor. He's compelling to watch. My notes say John Madison, my baby. He's literally me, and he kills it in this show. This is my personal most quotable show. I remember the first time I watched it, having to pause it because I would get into laughing fits. And it is so quotable and well written. The book of this show is incredibly well written. There's a fantastic balance of comedy and drama in the show, as well as horror, because it is a horror comedy musical. For the guy who didn't like musicals. Choreography, 7 out of 10. Music, 8 out of 10. Book, 10 out of 10. Performance, 9 out of 10. Comedy, 10 out of 10. Heart, 10 out of 10. Lighting, 10 out of 10. Costume and set, 10 out of 10. On this Black Friday!
On this Black Friday!
I've only seen this show the first time I watched it, so I really want to pay attention to it as best as I can, so I can take notes and review and give it a fair shot. So, yup. Shines down upon me. I'll know a righteous babe in this time of crisis, babe. It's not a joke. I'll be an actress. I see what I know, what I see. Tomorrow won't come, tomorrow come today. This song is beautiful. Probably in my top 10 favorite Starkid songs. This song is so good.
On this Black Friday!
Yeah, so this was my first time rewatching Black Friday. I felt very mixed about it. It's hard because I've had less time to digest this show from my first time watching it as compared to now. Another case of simple yet effective costume, set, lighting, all well done. Some of the vocals are less than perfect, and this is specifically in regards to ensemble pieces, actually, because I think the blend is off. I love all the choreo and blocking. The comedy is sparse, but I think super funny. The book is okay. And here's where I have a really hard time describing how I feel about the book. What is there I really like. Like, I like the interactions between the characters. Scene by scene, I really like how it's written. But as a cohesive piece, I struggle to enjoy a lot of it. There's too much time spent with some characters to say, this is an ensemble piece musical. Which ensemble piece musicals can be done great and still make you invest in every single character, even if there's not one main character. But I feel like some characters get too much time so that other characters, it's not an ensemble piece. On the flip side, though, the characters that do get spotlight don't get quite enough to say that it's a solo piece. I think the themes, when they're carried out, are really well done. I love thematically the criticisms on capitalism, especially how it's integrated into America specifically. Yeah, there's a lot I really like about this show. I think Feast or Famine is a great song. I think What If Tomorrow Comes is top 10, maybe even top 5 Starkid songs. A lot of it is good. Something about it just doesn't feel cohesive altogether. All the individual pieces are there, but as a complete piece, something feels missing and I can't describe it. Choreography, 10 out of 10. Music, 8 out of 10. Book, 6 out of 10. Performance, 9 out of 10. Comedy, 7 out of 10. Heart, 7 out of 10. Lighting, 10 out of 10. And costume set, 10 out of 10. Thus, we get to my ranking. I have seen many rankings of Starkid shows. Mine's a little different in many places. In 12th, we have me and my...
Censored content.
The reason being the production value just isn't there. Some of the comedy is very miss. but I think there's a lot there that I still love. I think the music is really good and very, very underrated. I don't think that's very controversial, but my next 3 will be very controversial. In 11th, 10th, and 9th place, we go A Harry Potter Senior Year, A Harry Potter Musical, and A Harry Potter Sequel. I know a lot of people put these higher on their lists, and truly the reason that they're so low is just because they don't have the same production value and resources that later Starkid has. I'm still super nostalgic for them, and I think they're super well done, and I love watching them. That's just where they landed. And the fact that my next one is above them might make people angry. Makes me sad. But in the 8th place spot, I have Firebringer. I get it. I don't think it's that funny either. But what is good about it is just so good. The dancing, the musical composition, the production design, the lighting. It's just so well done. Next up, it's Starship. The only reason it's not higher is because I just love the other shows more. Next up, we have Annie in my 6th place spot. How people can put Annie in their last place spot, I will never understand. Next up, we have Black Friday. This is tentative. I think production-wise, it is just so good. And I love all the individual pieces so much that I have to put it higher than Annie. With time, it might change. This is where it landed for now. Next up is Trail to Oregon. I love it. I think it's funny. I think the music is catchy. Cock Your Wagon is not that bad. It is not that bad. Top 3. These were all technically tied in my scoreboard, so I basically chose this ranking. And 3rd, we have Holy Musical Batman. I sang its praises during the review part. I feel like it's such an underrated show. It's funny. The music is good. The costumes are great. The lighting is cool. It's just a good show. It's a good, fun show. I don't want to share these last 2. And if you see me hesitating and you realize what 2 shows are left, you know why I don't want to do this. But I'm going to anyway. Number 2 is Twisted. Before this rewatch, I expected Twisted to far and away be my number 1. But some of the humor just doesn't, it holds it back from being my number 1. Even though the performances are great and the look of it is great and the music is so good and the lyrics are so good. I hope you understand, whoever's watching, and I understand why it is such a good show. But my number 1 is The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. The whole reason I told the story in the beginning was to prove I do have a history spanning before The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, enjoying Starkid musicals. So I didn't get, told, oh, you only like this because you saw it and it got you into the fandom more. No, I like it because I think it's a good show, and I think it is a show you can introduce anyone to, and anyone can enjoy it, and it is done well. It is a small cast, and it is done so well. And yes, there are drawbacks. Every show has drawbacks. But for me personally, I think it is a great show, and I think it's a great show to show other people who maybe aren't into Starkid yet. That's me reviewing and ranking all of the Starkid shows. Do you disagree with me? I'm sure many of you do. Please share. All jokes aside, I do understand other people's justifications, especially when their lists are wildly different from mine. I completely understand, and I get it. So I would love if anyone wanted to share their opinions in some comments or whatever. Alright, now that this short film is done, I'm gonna head out.